Hi friends, welcome back to Nearly Sane Games. I'm Neil, and today we're talking about the Tales of Aria sealed pre-release. Yesterday I got to go attend one of these pre-releases, so this is a 6-pack sealed deck. We each get 2 cold foil promos, and we can include those promos in our deck. So let's take a look at what I built. All right, let's take a look at this Oldhim deck that I built. First off, let's take a look at the character, Oldhim. He's got an ability that... Oh, there's a Briar token under there. That's weird. Okay, Oldhim, he's Earth and Ice, and you can pay 3, and if an Earth card is pitched this way, prevent the next 2 damage that would be dealt to Oldhim this turn. And if an Ice card is pitched this way, attacking hero puts a card from their hand on top of their deck. Alright, and then his weapon is... That's weird. That's Briar's weapon. Okay, it's Titan Fist. A decent 3 attack. Well, there's a card with 3 cost or greater in your pitch zone. Titan's Fist has +1, so it could be 4. You could easily do that with our pitches here. And then we've got all these defensive reactions that are really... I must add extra Briar tokens floating around. These Turn Timbers, for 2, it blocks 6, or for red, or 5, or 4, and it's nice to have some good defensive reactions. But look at these big attacks that we have in... It's Briar. Again. You know what? Forget it. We played Guardian before. Let's play Briar. Briar is Essence of Earth and Lightning. Whenever an attack action card you control deals damage to an opposing hero, create an embodiment of Earth token. This token, non-attack action cards you control have +1 while defending. At the beginning of your action phase, destroy embodiment of Earth. That seems pretty good. And whenever an attack action card you control, or whenever you play your second non-attack action card each turn, create an embodiment of lightning token. And that one says, when you play an attack action card, destroy embodiment of lightning and the attack gains go again. We love go again. Alright, and her weapon, once per turn action attack, whenever you attack with Rosetta Thorn, if you've played an attack action card and a non-attack action card this turn, deal 2 arcane damage to target hero. And we love us some arcane damage, because in this format, it's just about unblockable. And then we got a hat. This hat does nothing. No need to read that. You'll never use that. Unless you do, in which case, maybe you will. Mark of Lightning. This is an interesting card. Whenever a lightning or elemental attack you control is defended by a card from the hand, you may destroy Mark of Lightning. If you do, the attack deals 1 damage to a defending hero. This is fun because we have some attacks that get pumped up that deal an extra damage, and you can pop this and get off 2 sneaky damage. Oh, this card is so gross. A 0 cost, Sting of Sorcery. Go again. Attack actions cards you control gain. When you attack with this, deal 1 arcane damage to target hero. At the beginning of your end phase, destroy Sting of Sorcery. Here's some free arcane damage. Add that to all of your attacks. And speaking of free arcane damage, Sigil of Suffering. Deal 1 arcane damage to the attacking hero. If you have dealt arcane damage this turn, Sigil of Suffering gains +1. This thing is gross. Hi, I know you're attacking, but I'm going to deal you damage. And I'm going to block a lot of it. So there's that. Speaking of arcane damage, let's get some Arcanic Shockwave. Lightning Fusion. When you attack with Arcanic Shockwave, if it was fused, deal 1 arcane damage to the target hero. We don't really care about the attack because we are always going to be doing that arcane damage, or we're going to try to. Look at this. 3 of those. Love some arcane damage. Bramble Spark. We're going to ignore the Earth Fusion because we're going to be really bad at Earth Fusing. But this says, the next attack action card you play this turn, when you attack with this, deal 1 arcane damage to target hero. More arcane damage. Singing Steelblade. When you attack with Singing Steelblade, deal 1 arcane damage to target hero. It's the blue, so it only attacks for 2, but I'm okay with any arcane damage in this format is pretty much free. It's free damage, unless they manage to pull one of the legendaries that lets them block it. So, free damage is great. Vela Flash, I never got to fuse this, but if it was fused, it may play the next non-attack action card as though it were an instant. I don't have good places that this would be very effective, but it's a blue pitch. We like some blue pitch. Stir of the Wildwood. This one can be fused. I think I might have fused it once. If you fuse it, you get +2. If you've dealt arcane damage to an opposing hero this turn, it gets +2. The difficulty about the arcane damage +2 is getting Go Again. A lot of these things don't have Go Again. I was never able to actually get that bonus, but if you can get both bonuses, you're looking at it at 8 attack, which is very nice. Rites of Replenishment. This says blue pitch. This lets you put stuff from your deck and your from your graveyard to the bottom of your deck. Sure, but never actually got to use that, and I never got so far through my deck that I needed to use that, so there's that. Got 2 Stir of the Wildwood, or 2 more Stir of the Wildwood. Again, didn't get to use these with their fusing so much. I think I fused it once, but hey, Channel Amount Heroic. I never used this. This was 3 block is what this was. But if you can manage to hit it, your attack action cards have +3, and you must pay with Earth Pitch to keep it alive. I don't have that much Earth Pitch, so this didn't get used much. But hey, Majestic, so it goes in. Ball Lightning. Unfortunately, I only had blue Ball Lightning. I had blue balls, but I had 3 of them, and this puts an additional damage on any attack that hits. And you can use this with your Mark of Lightning to make sure an attack hits. This only works for lightning or elemental action, so pay attention to that. But at 0 cost with Go Again, this is a great card to have. It itself deals 2 damage if it hits. It's a card that makes blocking kind of a requirement for the opponent. And you can stack them up, so your first Ball Lightning gives +1, your second Ball Lightning gives everything +2, which is scary. Lightning Surge. I like this because it says Go Again. I would try to sequence this so I can get this in my arsenal and then flip it out next turn, possibly with throwing out a Ball Lightning first, so this will draw more cards out of the opponent's hands. Blink. I had somebody say that they didn't like this card, and I don't know why. It's 1 card, gain an action point. In pitches for blue, I think this is excellent value, especially in here. You can blink something. If you've had an attack action and a non-attack action, then you can swing Rosetta Thorn. For a limited environment, I like this quite a bit. Electrify. Next time an attack action card hits a hero, it deals 1 damage to them. If it's played from Arsenal, draw a card. It's a blue pitch. I haven't actually had the effect do that damage, but again, I can chain it with Mark of Lightning, potentially, and get that extra damage come through. But blue pitch blocks for 2. Here's some lightning actions. I ended up using Shock Strider's ability more than I thought. More on the 5. I would pitch a blue to play Shock Strider, and if people would let it hit, then I would add that extra damage to it. Remember, this is about this format is all about getting that incremental damage. That's what makes Arcane so good. There are very few things that can block it, and so anything that you can get a little bit extra damage out of it is great. So here's some lightning, and Heaven's Claws, attack for 5, block for 3 for 1. This is just fine in a sealed format. Another Shock Strider, still good. Earth Lore Surge. I do like this card, especially in sealed. It's cost 2 to gain +4. The red gets +5. This is a lot of damage coming through, and it's an Earth action. So if you can, the next attack you can give Go Again. You can swing with Rosetta Thorn. 2 free arcane damage. Seems pretty good. And then some Earth cards to fill out. Here's some big dumb attacks, and we like to have that. And I decided to go with this deck seconds after they called time for deck building. I said, you know what? I've already played the Guardian. I'm just going to go with the Brune Blade. I hear Briar's really strong, and I kind of sucked up all my lightning and filled out the rest with the Earth. Took all my Rune Blade cards and kind of stuffed them in a stack and said, here we go. Let's see how this goes. And let's talk about how that went. All right, with that last minute change to Briar, let's see how we did. The first round was against another Briar, and I started out first turn. In this game, I wanted to go first, and I wanted to push through as much arcane damage as I could. So I went first in this match, and turn 1, I threw out the Sting of Sorcery and managed to get 2 more attacks in there, so 2 arcane damage went through. There was a lot of back and forth, but I really wanted to make sure I wasn't taking chances with this. You don't want to get to a really low life total with Briar, because she'll kill you with the arcane damage, either with Rosetta Thorn or just random arcane damage off of one of her attacks. And you also have to be aware that she has the defense reactions that can also give you arcane damage, so you can end up attacking in and losing the game. So I worked to keep my life total high. The match ended that they were at 1 life, I was at 4, and got through that last point of arcane. Round 2, I was up against Oldhim, and he took in some early damage. I'm not sure. I think he was looking to take the damage so he could come back with big attacks, but I don't think his big attacks were quite big enough to really justify it. Kept hitting with arcane, get that little plink here and there. You see in my deck, I've got a lot of arcane sources available to me. And he gave me a Frostbite token at one point. It didn't really matter. I was playing a 0-cost card, the one that gets Ice Fusion and plinks for 1 arcane damage, so I had to pay for that one, but overall it didn't really disrupt my plans. I don't have quite enough Go Again to really have to figure it out that much. So in the end, I was at 8 life, he was at 1 life, plinked him down. Now in round 3, this was a 32-person event, and so by the time I got to round 3, I was at the top table. The top table had nothing but Briar. It was Briar, 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 Briar. That's it. I did see 1 Oldhim in the round 4, but then it went back all to all Briars. So I'll tell you something about how strong Briar is in this meta. I'm not saying that Briar is going to always win, but I think somebody would need to pull the heart that lets you have arcane, has the arcane damage blocking. Otherwise, you can plink everybody to death with Briar. So the rest of my matches will be Briar mirror matches. So round 3 was Briar. It was really a fast game. We were punching back and forth with so much arcane damage, just arcane, 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 and I just happened to have more than he did. So when he came in, I was able to block out his attacks, throw back another attack with some arcane damage on it. Really doesn't matter that much that you're not. I like the ball lightnings to roll out because it's has go again. It's a free throw, and potentially draw out a card or two out of their hand, and just plink them with more arcane damage. So that game went really quick. He was at 1 life, I was at 8 life, and then I killed him with arcane damage. Round 4 was it's just an arcane battle. It's just throwing arcane at him, he's throwing arcane at me, blocks, throws arcane at me, a lot of back and forth. I lost 2, the final damage was arcane, he was at 2, I was at 1, pretty close matchup overall. And round 5 was another Briar. Blocking's hard, and he did throw some big attacks at me. I believe his final attack was a swing for, he had the Earthlore Surge on top of another effect that gave him, I believe, an 8 attack, and I blocked for 9. I had 2, 2, and 3 blocks in my hand. I just laid down my hand, said I blocked 9. He had to go again on it, swung with the Thorn. He had already played a non-attack action and an attack action, so had the arcane damage. Going back, there's no good blocks there. I was dead anyway. I was at 4 life, he was at 6 life. Just overall a tough match. So my takeaways from this is Briar is tremendously strong, and if you're looking at your pool and you don't know what to do, and you have a good amount of lightning cards and a good amount of earth cards, shove them in the deck together and build Briar and see what she does. The amount of arcane damage that you do, it's really tough to fight against it, and you get into I think Oldhim is probably the easiest to build. He's got the big attacks. You look at that and you say, hey, big attacks, I like that. But the amount of arcane damage, like looking through my deck, I don't have that many big attacks. Most of my attacks are pretty small, and it's all about getting that arcane damage through. And my final opponent did have the Crown of Thorns, which you're able to sink your arsenal card and prevent the next damage. And you can do that as an instant, so you can block some arcane damage, you can block 1 arcane damage per turn. He didn't use it that much, but that is a factor to consider. If somebody has that or the ice chest piece that can block arcane damage, that is a really big deal. Yeah, and the fact that our table, the top table, was Briar, and it stayed Briar. We didn't have anybody that that was undefeated, but we had somebody that was mostly undefeated. I think we had somebody that went, we had several people that won 4 games, went 4-1. I went 3-2. I was, ended up 7th for the tournament out of 32, which I'm not too upset about. But yes, very much be on the lookout for Briar. I think that there are some Lexi builds that can get it done, but you're going to have to be really lucky in the pulls you get and the amount of arrows you get and how much support you can get for that. If you're very lopsided towards lightning or ice, I think you could probably make Lexi work. I think Oldhim is the easiest to build, but I don't think he's very effective. If you build Oldhim, you're going to want to look for lots of dominate attacks. His Majestic that gives the next attack +2, and if it hits, makes the opponent discard 2. That's very strong, and I believe that can also be used on his hammer. I believe it also gives the next attack dominate. You're going to want to look for a lot of good dominate effects to make Oldhim work, and I think that chess piece is almost necessary in order to completely make him work, because the amount of arcane damage Briar comes through with, like I said, I think that most of my damage came from arcane because it's essentially unblockable, and you have to block out all these little attacks, but that's the problem. So yeah, that was my pre-release. Comment below and tell me how your pre-release went, who you went with, and kind of what your meta was for that, and let's see if we all agree. And is Briar the big bad, or is Lexi more viable than I'm making her out to be, or can you get good success with Oldhim and make him more reliable, and make sure that he's getting damage through where Briar can't.